Going to bring this meeting to order. The meeting on Committee on Investments and Land Management for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. I'm your chairperson, Keone Souza. We have Vice Chair John Wahey IV. Team, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Chasia Huna.
Eu.
Chasia Kaka.
Eu.
Chasia Kina.
Lohamai Kako.
Chasia Lapa.
Present.
Chasi Galataria. Chasi Chair Kahele. Chasi Lindsay.
Present.
Vice Chair Wahe'e.
Present.
Chair Souza.
Eu.
8 present.
Mahalo members. All right, joining the trustees today is Kapu'ohana Stacy Ferreira, along with numerous support staff. I'm going to call on Stacy to announce the administrative staff joining us this afternoon.
Mahalo, Chair, Vice Chair, trustees. Before I introduce our team, I wanted to introduce a special guest who I just had the opportunity to meet with. She is helping to direct and coordinate efforts across the continent to assist OHA with advocacy efforts through our Hawaiian Civic Clubs. If I could ask Marlene Levacy to stand up. She is the Pelikikena of the Mainland Council of the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs. Mahalo. Okay, joining us from the administration, we have Chief Operating Officer Kehau Pu'u, Chief Financial Officer Ramona Hink, Endowment Director Ryan Lee, Interim Corporation Counsel Everett Ota, Interim Senior Legal Counsel Nichi Ozawa, Senior Director of Hawaiian Cultural Affairs Hailama Farden, Director of Uiwi Wellbeing and Aina Momona Kuike Kamakea Ohelo, Interim Director of Land Assets Lori Walker, Director of Communications Bill Brennan, Interim Information Technology Manager Kevin Chalk, and IT Systems Engineer and Administrator Kelsey Wade. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Stacy, and mahalo, trustees, admin staff, and members of the audience for being present here today. Mahalo. This meeting can be viewed via live stream on OHA's website at www.oha.org/livestream. If you'd like to testify on any agenda item during the Zoom meeting, please raise your hand when that item is announced. When called upon, please unmute yourself. You'll be given the ability to turn on your camera during your testimony. Once you're finished, we ask that you mute your microphone. We're recording today's meeting for the sole purpose of producing written minutes, which will become the official record of this meeting. Our first item of business on the agenda is the approval of minutes from January 8th, 2025, ILM Committee. Anyone signed up to testify?
No one signed up to testify.
Anyone in the room to testify? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Trustee Wahey, seconded by Trustee Alapa. Can I get a roll call?
Chasia Huna.
Aye.
Chasia Kaka.
Aye.
Chasia Kina.
Aye.
Chasia Lapa.
Aye.
Chair Kahele.
Aye.
Chasi Lindsay.
Aye.
Vice Chair Wahe'e.
Yes.
Chair Souza.
Aye.
8.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, members. Moving on to unfinished business. Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is new business. Under A, action item ILM 2501, approval of the updated 2024 guidelines for the Native Hawaiian Trust Fund Private Markets Commitment Plan. I'm going to turn the floor over to Stacy Ferreira. She can introduce our presenter.
No testifiers for this item.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Chair. I'd like to have Ryan Lee, Endowment Director, provide his report.
Good afternoon, Chair Souza, Vice Chair Wahey, and fellow trustees.
Wow.
Action item 2501 seeks approval of the updated investment guidelines for the 2024 private markets plan, which the Board of Trustees approved last September. Now, the changes are to address the challenges in deploying capital late in 2024, particularly as many top-tier funds have closed their fundraising efforts. Administration recommends increasing allocation to secondary strategies from 30% to 60%. Now, this adjustment will allow the Native Hawaiian Trust Fund to capitalize on the current market opportunities and enable for faster deployment. Now, for background, the 2024 commitment plan that the BOT approved included a 45 to 60 million budget and adopted a discretion box approach. This allows administration to commit 5 to 20 million across 4 to 8 firms or funds within the 2024 fund vintages and guidelines. Now, this framework emphasizes secondary and co-investment strategies to enhance diversification and to accelerate the portfolio ramp up. Now, as of December, administration has performed due diligence on several managers and committed 15 million to one secondary fund. Now, table 2 in the packet, in the action item, summarizes the changes, which is highlighted in the orange column. Now, again, the main change is to increase secondary strategies while reducing exposures to other sectors, such as credit and real assets. Once the 2024 budget has been committed, administration will return to the committee to seek approval of the 2025 private markets commitment budget and plan and provide a full update on the 2024 activities. Happy to open up to questions.
Members, any questions? Trustee Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ryan, thank you very much for your hard work on this. It's good to see fruition. I note that in private equity multi-manager secondary funds, we're going to go from 11% to 60%. That's a huge jump. I just wanted to ask, who will the managers be overseeing this?
In terms of
making the decisions on the investments.
So administration, working with your board consultant as well as working with other working with other secondary funds, diligencing the second funds, diligencing in terms of agreeing, in terms of the diligence process, right? So administration is leading that effort. In terms of diligencing, performing the required checklists.
Sure.
Right. So in terms of approval process, as mentioned, the board has delegated that discretion box framework,
right,
with those established that they were set. So within the guidelines, what you'll see is, the fund has to have 3 fund series, a certain level of performance, and so forth. So as long as those guidelines were met, a memo is typically written to the CEO to review and approve.
Will we be working with some of the same managers that we currently have worked with?
Yes, as well as new managers that we have sourced and diligenced.
Have they been selected?
We only selected one, as I mentioned, and that is not an existing manager. Okay. It's a new manager, a new relationship to the Native Hawaiian Trust Fund.
Thank you for your work on this.
You're welcome.
Mahalo, Trustee Aquino. Trustee Ahuna.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a question. So the venture investments that we're so like we okayed, we have to balance it out. Is that what you're saying in secondaries to get? Can you explain that to me? Why the secondary approach?
Right. So we're underallocated to private market, as you know, by 7%. So our long-term target is 19%. We're currently at 12%. So a private market strategy, a way to ramp up your exposure, what we can do is invest in secondary strategies to gain that exposure, to sort of backfill investments that we did not make, right? So that is part of the strategy to ramp up early on in terms of the program. And eventually, we do want to allocate directly to prime managers like buyout, growth, and venture in a very prudent and disciplined way.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Trustee Ahuna. Members, any other questions? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to approve? Oh, hold on. Okay, we're just going to pull up the motion. Oh, Trustee Aquino.
I'll move. Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt action item ILM number 25-01, approval of the updated 2024 guidelines for the Native Hawaiian Trust Fund Private Markets Commitment Plan.
All right, do I have a second? Motion made by Trustee Aquino, seconded by Trustee Waihe'e. Can I get a roll call vote? Oh, any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Ahuna,
Sorry, I'm voting no.
Trustee Akaka,
Aye.
Trustee Aquina,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa,
Yes.
Trustee Galutaria,
Aye. Aye.
Chair Kahele, Trustee Lindsay,
Aye.
Vice Chair Wahe'e,
Yes.
Chair Souza,
Aye. Motion passes. Mahalo, members. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. All right, moving on. Item number 4, new business. B, action item ILM 2502, approve the completion of due diligence and to coordinate the land transfer of Mauna Ala Nu'uanu Oahu to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And just to make note that we had this on the agenda last ILM meeting on January 8, 2025. Admin presented, and we gave them time for the trustees to review. Anyone signed up to testify, Rochelle?
sorry, can you read the rest first?
And also, we received 2 resolutions in support from Halina Onali'i o Hawaii and Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs. We also received 2 written testimony on this item that was distributed via email, 1 in support and 1 in opposition. Anyone signed up to testify?
Yes, we have four testifiers in person and 2 online. So I'm gonna call Colleen Ayu
Okay.
first.
And as Colleen makes her way up, I'm just going to remind everyone that public testimony should be limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda and will occur prior to any listed item's conclusion or vote. If you begin to address other issues not on today's meeting agenda, the ILM chair will call you out of order and direct you to limit your testimony to the items listed on the agenda. Testifiers' mics will be unmuted when it is your turn to testify. If you're not audible, you'll be muted and the next testifier will be called. Oral testimony online will be limited to 5 minutes. Your mic will be automatically muted once you have completed your oral testimony, or if your allotted time for testimony expires. Please log off after testifying, otherwise the staff may be forced to remove you. Aloha.
Aloha. I'm going to take a moment to introduce myself because some of you may not know me and wonder why I'm here. My name is Colleen Ayu. My mother was Mikey Ayu, and my father was Boniface Ayu, the fire chief of Honolulu. Why I'm here is because I'm a recipient of legacy responsibility, and I'm here to testify on behalf of Halauhulu Maiki. It is the oldest formal school of dance here in Hawaii. I was notified by the Daughters and Sons of Hawaiian Warriors that this was taking place, and I was able to download the board packet and read through it. First of all, I want to define my association with Mauna Ala, not just through hula, but I would like to read you something quoted by Auntie Lydia Namahana. She says, Auntie Lydia Namahana, my Oho curator of Mauna Ala, the Royal Mausoleum in Nu'uanu, said, people wish that woman was still here, referring to my mother. There's nothing you could say negative about her. To me, she was just awesome. No matter what island she went to, when she returned, she would always bring a ho'okupu for our ali'i. She'd go by herself. She would bring maile from Kauai and decorate the crypt of King David Kalakaua. She made lauae into leis. She decorated the railings. She brought her students here to study and meditate. Maiki Ayu was the first Halau to come on these grounds in the late 60s. Now they're all coming. It makes me feel good. This is a sacred and hallowed place. When you're in the chapel, it's like you're in another world. You're with the ali'i, and the ali'i are with God. When Maiki Ayu first came to these doors, I thought, this one electrifies. Oh, how vibrant she was. Oh, I can see this face smiling. I never met anyone like her with so much aloha. I tell you, when she came, she was Kaleinani o Ka'aina. And on that, I come because of the legacy that I have been responsible for over the last 40 years. Not only did I have a relationship with Auntie Namahana, I also had one with her son, Bill, and also Bill's son, Kai. So I'm here because it seems very important to me, after reading the packet, that there wasn't and there hasn't been enough due diligence. And, you know, our group is a small group. We are not a large halau with funds, but we were able, through the talents and the students of our halau and many friends I know who knew my position. When we talk about, and this is from your own packet, when we talk about reinvigorating traditional Hawaiian cultural practices, including ceremonies and protocols, these ceremonies are private to the Hawaiian societies. They are not a collective body of information to be published on a thumb drive for everyone to look at. They're not secret, but remember, they are private. And the Hawaiian societies have been doing this for years. Another thing that was brought up was to care for Mauna'ala. Hawaiian civic clubs and community groups for years have been taking care of Mauna'ala, cleaning it, doing the land. And I bring all this up because the last parts of your packet talk about utilities and landscaping, and this is all very well, but not every plant has to be a Hawaiian plant. You know, Queen Emma herself, when she got married, her bouquet was made out of mock orange flowers. I don't know how different that can be from something indigenous. So in reading all this and then comparing it to the other 4 land acquisition items, they all relatively say the same. If we look at the law in a special way and we pull out this and this and this, then we're entitled. But more than entitled, it's very difficult for a cultural practitioner to say, yes, this is all good. This is not good. Our ahuhui would never give our right to do and things at Mauna'ala to a state agency. I've never heard of any Hawaiian person who does fishing that gives up all their native rights to the Department of Land and Natural Resources. That is an impossible and very negative thing to ask. It says here that taking over Mauna'ala would increase our Hawaiianness and to be rooted in Native Hawaiian traditions. Do you not believe that each one of us is rooted? We are rooted, and we, you know, our mole may not be so deep. We just may be avava, small, tiny roots bringing in water, but we are all relevant. And to say that we should put ourselves under one because it seems like the best thing to do, it's not. I asked people my own age, I'm 73, I asked them, do you know about this Mauna'ala thing? They're college graduates, and they said, no. How do we find out about it? I said, well, it's printed in the document package on the online site. You know, I tell you, I'm not computer literate. That's why I can't sit down and punch myself in. But I will tell you this, in reading it, I have the capacity enough to understand that this is wrong. And to rush it through without information from our people, you know, well, just give me a little bit more time. I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
Yeah. No problem, Eti. If you could wrap it up. Mahalo.
If our kupuna, like me, I went to college, and some of us are not as capable to get online and do this. We don't even have the time. We're trying to take them to mo'opuna. Children have 2 and 3 jobs. You know, I agree with Mama Kakaua. Why wasn't this since July posted in the readership of Kawai Ola'oha to give every single person who reads it, not only looking for their, what is that, their Ohana reunions, but to read about Mauna'ala, the history, who were the caretakers, how did it move from a sovereign entity to be inventory and then taken care of by DAGs and then given to the department? How did this all happen? Where was OHA's position and where were their eyes when all this was happening?
Eti Colleen, I would like to mahalo you for your testimony, but just to be mindful of others in the room, if we can end this testimony, please. Right.
I have 6 months to work on this.
Right.
And you are giving me less than 10 minutes to try to express all the things I feel as a Hawaiian born and raised here, attached to Mauna Ala. And again, I repeat this.
Yeah.
We are not against legacy being developed, but we are against rushing something that really no good information has been provided.
I do understand. Mahalo, Auntie Colleen. Thank you so much for being here. Aloha. No, not a problem. Mahalo. Thank you. All right. Anyone else signed up to testify?
The next speaker is Huakiala Man.
Aloha.
Today, I represent Ahahui Ka'iulani. I'm a director of Ahahui Ka'iulani. I have been a member for over 40 years. Can you hear? Oh, no, I'd like to stand. Yeah. Yeah, all right. I have been a member of Ahahui Ka'iulani for over 40 years. Ahahui Ka'iulani had his investiture at Kawaihaʻo Church, and this was in about 1982. Our co-founders include Maikiaʻiu Lake, Bina Mossman, Mary Kavena Pukui, Meali'i Kalama, Mary Robinson, and Vicky E. Rodriguez. These women felt that the Ahahui should be handed over and given to Maikiaʻiu for all of her aloha for the Princess Ka'iulani. We have had a relationship with Mauna Ala for all that time. I remember as a young member in about 1979, we would go there. We have decorated for our Princess Ka'iulani the chapel as well as the crypt. Now, I stand here before all of you to say that I am in support of the daughters and sons of Hawaiian warriors, Mama Kakawa, because I am the ku'auhau as well, the general secretary. And the daughters and sons of Hawaiian warriors is against this 25-02. Is it ILM 25-02? Against it. Mauna Ala has been under the Department of Land and Natural Resources for all this time. They have let it fall down to its depths. Yes, but where was OHA? Why didn't OHA? Because I know everyone knew what was going on up there. No one went there to say this is what's happening. People have complained about its maintenance, its upkeep, and those kinds of things. I remember going there to clean the dead birds in the crypt, in the Kalakaua crypt, picking it up myself. We went as the daughters and sons of Hawaiian warriors. The place was filthy, but where was everyone to step up, to help, and to correct DLNR? Now OHA wants to take it over. Why didn't OHA step up and say, let us correct this? You cannot let DLNR take all their things and just pass it on. They're passing it on. Is that what they feel about our ali'i? Our ali'i give their mana. We go there. Why do we go there? It's not to pose and to do our oli, what have you. That is not it. Because even without the chance, we go there to pay homage to our ali'i, to show our love and affection. And hopefully when we leave there, we have imparted ourselves to him, our ali'i, and they have given us themselves as well. So rather than OHA wanting to take it over, why doesn't OHA first think we have to clean this up first, clean up DLNR's mistakes? We were locked out on Saturday, November 16th. Do you know what date that is? That is King Kalakaua's birthday. It has never been closed to any of our ali'i on Saturday or Sunday. It was shut. Someone from there wrote an email and they got a response that said, it is shut on Saturdays and Sundays. And she responded, I flew in for my king's birthday. I flew in from the Big Island and you're telling me it's shut? It has never been that way. Why can't we all work together to improve DLNR and its stance? Because I know we all care for Mauna Ala. We all care for our ali'i. But it is not right for Mauna Ala to go from an agency, from a department to an agency. What is that?
Auntie Pua, no disrespect, and I appreciate you being here, but I'm going to ask you to wrap up your testimony. Mahalo.
All right. So we are saying that our ali'i now have to come under an agency. What next? LLC? What is going to happen to our ali'i? Yes? So I implore you, let us correct the wrongs of DLNR. I think OHA has enough on its plate. There are many things that OHA is taxed with, and I don't think that one more thing is the answer. Thank you.
Mahalo, Auntie Pua. Thank you so much for being here. And I just want to say, for the record, when I remind everyone to keep their testimony to 5 minutes, we're just going for consistency and just to be mindful and respectful of everyone here in the room as well as online. Mahalo.
The next testifier is James Maioho.
Wow.
Can you turn on the mic?
There we go.
Stacy had helped me, and I negated that.
You can get closer to the mic if possible as well. Thank you so much.
So, my full name is James J. Kalemamahu Crowning Bird Maioho. I am the eldest mo'opuna of Lydia Namahana Ikalele Okalani Maioho, and the current lineal successor to my previous cousin Kai as kahu or keeper or caretaker. There's been several terms used over the years going way back what this role was called. First and foremost, I thank Auntie Colleen. I agree with much of what she said about the privacy of some of the things that happen at Mauna Ala, because it is, for the most part, 90% of what happens there is in private. There are only so many events planned, throughout the state, throughout the calendar year that we come up as Royal Societies or as civic clubs or whatnot to celebrate and have our functions. There is a real opportunity here for OHA. First and foremost, I think we all agree that it should not be treated or in the inventory of the state park system. Because of the Organic Act, we are very limited in how that inventory, and I hate using that word, but that's what it is treated. So where can you go with a piece of inventory like that? It has to remain within the state. OHA is a state agency with all the good and bad that goes with that. So a lateral move to that to get it at least out of the state park system is a positive thing. For the sake of brevity, there's really 3 points that I want to make. One is a factual correction to your document. One, the name Ho'opili is prominently used in association with the kuleana that my family has held since 1819 and in residence at Mauna Ala since 1893. That includes my Beckley cousins who are from another child of Ho'olugu, my line is from his eldest child, Kai He'ikai. So people understand that. But the Beckley, starting with Mariah, from the last monarch appointment, Liliuokalani Kalani, was Mariah Beckley. The Beckleys held that until my grandpa Taylor was mentioned, and there went in 1946. And then Mount Olive became public in 1947. Before that, it was never public. So I'd like that corrected, because Ho'okili, though he and his younger brother of 19 years, Ho'olulu, did hide the iwi of Kamehameha, does not have any sort of descendants of his body. He had several Hanai children, but that bloodline did not carry the Kuleana down. Ho'olulu did. And that may be a distinction that's more important to me than others, but I think it's an important distinction. Two, when I read through the document, I do feel for where Auntie Colleen is coming from, because in some ways it reads like we want to reinvent the wheel. The wheel does not need to be reinvented. There's a very sacred obligation that my family and now that I hold to the protection of the iwi, and the kuleana's to the iwi. And Kai He'ikai's kuleana was expanded beyond that, Lahaina, Pohukaina, all of these things that led up to the necessity of Mount Olive being opened in 1865. And, one other point along that factual correction that I wanted to clarify was Auntie Iolani was mentioned in there. And yes, Auntie Io was not of the Ho'olulu bloodline. That is accurate. But she was also, it infers that maybe she was chosen by the state or by some other group to go in there. And that's not the case. Our families, the Beckleys and the Taylors, had a meeting prior to her appointment because we had no Beckley and my tutu was not ready to serve. Yeah, so Auntie Io came and she'd already had Ho'olehe'e. She had other responsibilities. She was a very powerful and wonderful person. Had come in and very graciously stepped out when my tutu was ready. So I wanted to clarify that these have been family decisions for over 130 years. And I'm in total agreement that the DLNR has dropped the ball. I read through 40 years of documents and budgets and struggles. And I remember being, as a child, very small and growing up, at that place, that there were always the struggles.
James, I'm always going to ask you to wrap it up, but thank you for being here. If you could wrap it up quickly, mahalo.
Yes, that goes quickly. So I'll leave you with this. There is an opportunity to do something good here. There is an opportunity to involve the Hawaiian community. But what is blaringly missing from this document or from any conversations leading up to today is the involvement of my ohana and my input and my larger Beckley family's input. And I'd ask that going forward, because this position, my lineal appointment cannot be taken away by anybody that exists, that we find a way to work together to find something that satisfies people like Nancy Colleen and the societies and the other stakeholders.
Okay.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, James. Thank you so much for being here. Next testifier.
Jermaine Myers.
Aloha, Jermaine.
I appreciate the mana'o of those that testified before me. Aloha, my name is Jermaine Myers. I'm an OHA beneficiary for Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment. I'm also a Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead lessee. Some of the information for components of Phase 1 due diligence that were missing from the last meeting presentation are provided with today's packet. I reviewed the information and I appreciate the details included. I'm just concerned that some very critical components are missing, which I'll share in a moment. But first, another concern is that today's action item merged two very critical steps into one. Today's action item 25-02 will, number one, authorize administration to proceed with external third-party resources to complete the 10 components of Phase 2 due diligence. But also, number two, authorize the CEO to proceed with the land transfer. The merging of these two steps in today's action item denies the trustees and beneficiaries the opportunity to review the results of Phase 2 due diligence. Reviewing Phase 2 must occur before land transfers so that proper evaluations of both Phase 1 and Phase 2 can occur to discern if OHA should approve or deny the land transfer. Removing this critical decision step from the process breaches the trustees' fiduciary duty to the beneficiaries to evaluate and make sound decisions to protect the sustainability of OHA's trust and its current financial and land assets for future generations. Insofar as the information provided in today's packet on due diligence Phase 1, it was missing the following critical components for the proposed Mauna'ala land transfer: financials, risk, benefits, 1, 5, 10-year capital projection, management operation costs, funding mechanisms limitation. Is it possible for the current landowner, i.e. state land, a DLNR, to provide the financials for the past 10 years, including all past operational expenses, CIP expenditures, future projected CIP, etc.? Or can OHA obtain them through Department of Finance reports? These financial components are very important in understanding the long-term financial consequences and commitments that will be inherited with this land transfer and its potential to diminish or destroy OHA's ability to fulfill all of its strategic goals in serving the Lahui statewide in health, education, housing, economic opportunities and loans, cultural event grants, etc., etc. Kia kuapu, God bless all of you.
Paula Germain, thank you so much.
Sorry, we have online testifier. Hold on. I'm gonna move Anthony Makana Paris.
Makana, are you online?
All right, 1 second.
I see him.
Yeah, are you here?
Yep. Hello, Makana.
Aloha. Aloha, Chair. Souza, Vice Chair, Waihe, and fellow trustees. My name is Anthony Makana Paris, and I'm the first Vice President of the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs. Mahalo nui loa for the opportunity to testify in support of the action item before you. The association was founded in 1918 by His Royal Majesty Crown Prince Jonokuhio Kalaniana Ole, who now rests at Mauna'ala. Has a long-standing track record of advocating for the proper stewardship of our aina, and in particular our wahipana or sacred sites, including Mauna'ala. At our 65th annual convention, we passed a resolution urging the transfer of title, stewardship, and appointment of a curator for Mauna'ala, the sacred historical burial site and royal mausoleum of Hawaii, to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And in parallel, the House has also agreed to advocate that the state legislature should provide the ongoing funding necessary for its proper maintenance as raised by previous testifiers, so to not be a financial burden on OHA. Furthermore, in January 2025, the Board of Directors reaffirmed our commitment by unanimously supporting the OHA full 2025 legislative package, including the things on Kaka'ako Makai entitlements, Island Burial Council member composition, PLT lands inventory, and OHA's biennium budget. Now, specifically to Mauna Ala, the Royal Mausoleum, we recognize as the eternal resting place of our ali'i and a vital link to our cultural heritage. It is a sacred wahipana, and for generations, the association, through its memberships and stewardship with the Oahu Council, including my home club, Prince Kuhi Hawaiian Civic Club, and namesake, along with other Native Hawaiian organizations, including the Royal Order of Kamehameha I, Ahui Ka'ahumanu, Haleona Ali'i Hawaii, and the Daughters and Sons of Hawaiian Warriors, Mamaka Kaua, have upheld our collective kuleana to honor and protect it. However, long-standing mismanagement, since arguably the overthrow and the illegal occupation of our lands, has highlighted recently by actions of DLNR, including seemingly lack of transparency and failure to consult effectively with Native Hawaiian organizations in the appointment of a curator, Mauna Ala, have raised significant concerns. These actions undermine the cultural protocols and relationships that have been safeguarded the sacred place for generations. We recognize that OHA is uniquely positioned to oversee Mauna Ala, given its mission and statutory mandate, and as the fourth branch of government for the state of Hawaii. By approving this action item and arguably passing SB 4, we will help to restore trust within our community and affirm the importance of culturally sensitive stewardship of this place. In addition, the association has already called upon the governor to actually help to coordinate the necessary steps to transfer official legal ownership of Mauna Ala to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs if OHA wishes to receive it. Now, the ongoing cultural protection and oversight of this place, we also recommend that a collective advisory council be created to provide those things that previous testifiers have shared. The sensitivities around our cultural practices and kuleana, and those things that are private, but not necessarily appropriate in such open academic and publicly available spaces like this, where we have those in-house ohana conversations. And those, we recommend that the Ali'i Trust Hawaiian Royal Societies Association and other lineal descendants, including the Maioho family that has long time kuleana for this place, be offered a space to be able to help OHA in this management if it so wishes to actually take upon this kuleana. So the association is proud to stand in support of this action and the OHA 2025 legislative package. Mahalo nui loa for your consideration of this. And we hope that this continues to actually allow us and to be able to engage with our trustee, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, in a more meaningful way for the land stewardship of our aina. Because it is difficult for many of our people to be able to coordinate with the federal government, the Department of Interior, the Department of Agriculture, and the State Department of Land and Natural Resources, and so many other state agencies. But if this is a pattern in which OHA is looking towards consolidating all of the land assets that we rightfully have as Kanaka into one place, it is easier for us to engage with you trustees and your office than it is to engage with the behemoth that is the United States of America and the state and all of its other agencies. So we take this as a positive step and we support this action. Mahalo, and open for questions.
Mahalo makana for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
I'm going to bring up Tara Rojas.
Aloha, Tara. Tara, your mic is muted. You could unmute, please.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you. You could be louder.
Oh, can you hear me okay now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
So, aloha, Tara Rojas, and I just want to say thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm here as an ally, and with all due respect and with much humility, I want to go ahead and, just give my honest, just heartfelt.
In the panel as the extension.
Oh, okay. So I just want to say that what I usually testify for is on behalf, not behalf of, but for Kanaka Maoli. And now this is the organization or entity of Kanaka Maoli for Kanaka Maoli. So I just want to say that hard to say, especially as an ally, what is the right choice. I do know, one, that it does need to not be, in this illegally occupying state hands that really in this system does nothing for what it's tasked to do to improve and for the betterment of Kanaka Maoli. First of all, in just the Inoa, how it's important that you all are not native Hawaiians, you guys are Kanaka Maoli. And so that in itself really limits and prohibits any true action to support, Kanaka Maoli and for you all to thrive, to be back on your own land, to really have the rights and not feel like the outsider again in your own homeland. So wanted to start with that. Secondly, these places that are looking to be transferred over, like I said, it was like, I see or hope that if this does occur, that it truly is to preserve the sacredness of these sites. And I know you all know, right? Because I just found out about this today, so I kind of glanced at really quick the 125 pages, but that there was the dialogue, with people like Kia'i I've stood with and I've stood, supported as well. The conversation that is in the document and seeing what they're saying, it's what we stand for, as Kia'i, whether an ally or of Koko. So I do hope, again, that these places, if it does transfer, that it is protected first and foremost. And then as far as Mauna Ala, I just really hope that you can take quick action as an entity, regardless of the transfer, to reinstate the rightful kahu who, just testified, because what had happened and what is in place now is truly just unthinkable to have touched upon such a sacred place that has been sovereign that even other administrations have not touched. So to right the heva, right the wrong that has occurred and that is still in place right now, I happened to be on one BLNR meeting and I was still in the Zoom. It wasn't on the agenda, but one of the board members spoke up to the Parks and Rec director and said, on behalf of the community, I need to bring this up, even though it's not on the agenda. And she mentioned Mauna Ala and about what I'm talking about right now, the injustice of removing the kahu. And she spoke on it. I was able to add to that as well. And because I heard the Parks and Direct Rec say about, oh, it's not about QR codes, but it's to, have the information there so that we can bring schools and groups there. But even at that, a resting place is not really to be paraded around, and just to be thought of as a attraction, So if this transfer occurs, I really hope that it fulfills its commitment and the purpose. And in the last 47 seconds, I just want to say this, just to be straight, that I really do hope, because I know several people on there that I feel I can trust. But for all of you as an entity, I really do hope that you keep your heart, your minds, and your actions pono, that you have not or are not thinking of going over, kind of to the other side, I'll just call it, going over to the other side, and really stay open and stay pono. And with that, I want to say right after this, from 3 to 4, I hope to see you all there on the Navy's EIS presentation, because this has to do with all of Hawaii, between Hawaii, California, around Kauai, to increase bombing, increase torpedo practice, increase sonar and shoreline practice in the ocean with the military training, the Navy training. Yeah, so I hope to see you on there. I believe it's mantech. I forget, but there's the link. Just look up the Navy EIS presentation. So with that,
Mahalo. Thank you so much for your testimony. Appreciate it. Next testifier, please.
I have in person Leonel Kalima.
Hello, Auntie. How you doing?
I got a call like about 12 something that this was happening at 2 o'clock. How's it? Long time no see. And you guys too. What have you guys done with Kaka'ako? That says it all,
Auntie,
gang.
Auntie, with all due respect, and I respect you, you know that, but Kakako is not on the agenda
No,
today.
it's not, but not much has been done with that. So I don't expect much to be
Yeah.
happening with Mauna Laha. And you're taking care of it. Okay. I also know that this is a very hot subject in Waimanalo with the Kupuna Council, and I don't see any of them here. So that tells me we never get the word till 12 something this afternoon. And we're not all watching what's happening at Ledge. But I flew over, let me tell you, for you to make the community involvement of what happens to Mauna Laha throughout the community. Get your dog and pony show out there and get the input of who, what, when, how is related to Mauna Laha and who has say in what happens to it. Like I said, we have two kupuna, one with the old one and one with the new one, battling it out in Waimanalo. Where are you? You bring it here to the board, you want to take it over. But where's your community really, besides coming to your castle, giving testimony? So I want to see you guys out there. You never answer Kaka'ako, yeah, but I will tell you that it cost over $500,000 for Reuse Hawaii to move. They got a really nice place. And from what I understand, Polynesian Cultural Center, okay? And I've been an employee for 26 years. You know what we call that? The Friends and Family Plan. So if we're seeing that happen right now, stop it. Because I will be out there, and I'm sure I have some of this backings. We will be outside of OHA with signs. Thank you.
Mahalo, Auntie. Good to see you. Will do. Mahalo. Thank you. Next testifier, please.
I'm going to bring another online.
Okay. That native stuff, that native plants or something, we need to make sure you take that out.
Mahalo. Next testifier, please.
Sorry, I'm bringing up. I don't know who this is. Can
Online.
you identify yourself, please, and then you may begin.
Aloha. If you're online to testify, can you please identify yourself? Is that House of Kekuanaoa? I see up there. If that is you, could you please unmute your mic? I'm going to give it one more try. House of Kekuanaoa, if you can identify yourself and unmute your mic if you signed up to testify, please.
Oh,
All right. Oh,
aloha.
hey, aloha.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what was happening. Definitely Kupuna is here. I am
No problem.
aloha members and agents within the panel. As the extension of the position of the executor of the Ali'i Trust, also known as the State of Hawaii, I am a direct descendant of the House of Kekuanaoa. I am the CEO of Kekuanaoa Legacy Foundation and co-founder of House of Heirs and member of the Ahamoku, as was my kupuna, as the Privy Council and the House of Nobles, as has been from time immemorial of our bloodlines. My bloodline has never given up any rights over anything, thus being said here for all, putting all of you on notice, this petition that I am stating to you is being brought to the heavenly courts at the foot of Io to bring justice as they so see fit. This is brought to the feet of our gods, Kane, Lono, Ku, and Kanaloa, as well as Tutupele and Poliahu, to hear this pule I make to you. They are here with me now. This is a spiritual violation and is being heard in the heavenly courts. As the Nāmamo Ali'i of the Iwi Kupuna of Mauna Ala, this will have spiritual ramifications of those who continue to tread on the rights of the Iwi Kupuna, whose rights are not protected here by you and any other agents, nor the constitution of a group with no treaty. These iwi are protected by the Treaty of the de jure Kingdom of Ko Hawaii Pai'aina, whose rights will be violated on an international level. The violation of their rights, whose kuleana to protect rightfully is chosen by the gods, is with the house of Ho'olulu. Any and all violations of this sacred covenant, I am asking the heavenly courts to bring justice accordingly as they so see fit. Know that our ali'i who are witnessing this grotesque desecration of all things sacred to us who call ourselves Kanaka Maoli, OHA protects the rights of Native Hawaiians, whom my kupuna ali'i and mo'i are not. OHA's objectives is to speak for Native Hawaiians and cannot speak for the iwi of another nation. It's like Japan speaking for those in America. Ole. OHA has no place in the sacred covenant to protect the bones of my kupuna. You all hold a duty to honor our king who chose the bloodline to protect the most sacred bloodlines upon the soil, is now being placed in the hands of an entity. Ole. Foreigners should not be viewing my kupuna iwi as a park nor a tourist attraction. That is despicable. Do you see people paying to see the graves of Diamond Head? How about paying for a joyride through your kupuna's graves, your ancestors? This will usher in an uprising of Kanaka Maoli and the Na Mamaoli'i, the Na Kahunas, the Kaulas of our Pai'aina. This will cause an uprising that you will see all ali'i descendants come forward to stop this desecration. The difference between me and everybody else is the blood. And if you understand your duty and role as a selected person who represents a moku or a mokupuni, then you, as a Kanaka Maoli, whose national allegiance is Hawaiian, must understand and uphold what was ordained and made as a sacred covenant by King Kamehameha. He chose this bloodline. And for you to act superior and to make a decision, it does not belong in the hands of OHA. OHA is speaking for Native Hawaiians whose terminology by Black's law is not even anybody who live here in Hawaii except foreigners. Hawaiian Kanaka Maoli are not Native Hawaiian. OHA affords and protects and speaks for the funding for those care in accordance to your public law 103-150. That's Native Hawaiians. My kupuna, the iwi in Mauna Ala, has no place in the hands of an entity. And to violate that covenant that our king made, your kupuna's king, you may not have had an oath of allegiance to the kingdom, but your kupuna did. And if your kupuna is in the Ku'e petition, then your kupuna still holds that sacred covenant and to honor and respect that. It should not be turned into a park. It should not be turned into a tourist attraction with QR codes at all. How does OHA think they speak for Native Hawaiians and they want to come and speak for royal bloodlines that is higher than anybody sitting in this agency? I am making this petition so you can hear, this is my petition, my pule, to the heavenly courts. So whatever happens after this is in their hands. And it is in yours to make the right decision by the covenant that came before you. Your job is to uphold and speak for our people, not speak for agreements where funding will delineate and come down to OHA, because you haven't even provided for every single Kanaka. Indian nations provide payments to their people. You, OHA, you provide nothing to Kanaka Maoli people. Nothing. They got to come and stand in line for handouts that eventually run out. Why are you not paying regularly monthly payments to the people? And now you want to speak for our kupuna? No. Ole.
Mahalo. Thank you so much for your testimony. Next testifier, please. You know what? Before we move on, I just want to remind everybody, first of all, thank you for being here. Yeah, I do understand your passion. I just want to remind everybody on that action item that we have today, right? The Board of Trustees, as well as everybody in-house and online. It's due diligence, right? Just keep those two words in mind, due diligence. The process is not finished, nor has OHA made any commitments or signed any documents transferring of any land that we discussed here today. But I do understand everyone's passion, but I do want to make sure that everyone is respectful here. Yeah. We're not coming here to yell at anybody. Yeah. And then also, once again, be mindful of the time, the 5-minute time. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Next testifier, please. Hello, Brandon.
Aloha. Aloha, brother. I'm here in total support of the due diligence process to go forward. I agree with a lot of what was said that Mauna Aula should not be a park. It should not be, looked at as some sort of tourist attraction. And I think that's what it's being utilized right now. And I think the prolonged relationship that we have with DLNR is not a good one. And it's not our job to go teach DLNR how to be better stewards. It's our job to be the stewards. And I think that the longer this takes, the more havoc occurs. And I think that if we're ever going to be one nation, we have to learn how to govern and protect our sites. What better time to do it than now? I cannot speak for previous administrations or previous trustees, but we here right now, we're willing to do this work, and I believe the work must be done, and so we're here to support that. But thank you. Mahalo.
Yeah, mahalo, Brandon. I think we have one more testifier. Rochelle.
Sorry,
Bobby.
there's a guest
Okay.
online. Sorry, there's somebody online.
Bobby, sorry, if we can go to the online. Mahalo.
I think you're called guest. Can you?
If there's somebody online as guest, can you please identify yourself? I see that you unmuted your mic. Yeah, aloha.
Hi, aloha. Sherry Cummings for the record.
Hello, Sherry.
Hi. I just found out about this too, and it's not only this that's important to me, it's Koloa that's going to be coming up very shortly. For the record, I just stand behind Ilamuku and Tara Rojas, who spoke so eloquently about bloodlines. My ohana is bloodline as well. I hope and pray that OHA, in its capacity, becomes a facilitator for the ohana who has the kuleana, the Maioho family, who has the kuleana for the management of our iwi kupuna who lies in Mauna Ala. I am a late bloomer regarding knowing who my ohana is. I only know certain parts of my ohana, and proud to say what I found out in recent 2 years. And Kai, I remember speaking to you when you came down to Kauai, and I showed you my kupuna, my tutu lady who stood on the stairs with Queen Lili'uokalani in her famous trek to Amelika to ask for her restoration. And my tutu is the niece of Kauikeoli and Queen Kalama. Her mama is Kalama's sister, Nako'oko'okuokalani. We talk about the Mamakakawa. The Mamakakawa Ahu'ula sits on my kupuna's shoulders while she took that famous picture with the queen, which was her blood from her mama's side. I hope and I pray that you folks do what is correct for our Kanaka people, because you guys could facilitate and be facilitators in a process to bring what is pono. Because I'm going to ask for that for Koloa in addition. But I wanted to support the families who was before you folks and how they cared and the wisdom that came with it from kupuna to kupuna. And I ask for that in Kekua's name. Mahalo for listening.
Mahalo, Sherry. Aloha. I think we have one more testifier. Go Bumpy.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I was thinking about this everybody talking, the families, OHA. And in my mind, I used to sit down and talk with Auntie Lydia back in 93 when everybody was excited, the commemoration of the overthrow, all those things. And you know what she told me? Bumpy, this is the only sovereign spot in Hawaii, Mauna Ala. So the families, when you take on the kuleana of the Mauna Ala, that's the kuleana of our country. That's what I'm interested in. That is real significant for us. But I used to go up there and sit down and talk with her. And she told me that. And I just wanted to share that with you folks, that there's more at stake than just Mauna Ala, Mauna Ala. We're talking about our country. And I would support it going into the hands of OHA, the transfer. But of course, taking into consideration what I was saying, how things can work. If things can work out, then right on. You know, I just wanted to share that with you folks.
Malongo, Bobby. Thank you. Any other test? Okay. Seeing no other testifiers, I'm going to call upon Stacey Ferrer, Kapuana.
Mahalo, Chair. Just 2 points of clarification based on testimony provided. The first is I just want to call the attention to trustees to page 1, the proposed action. There was a comment made that the action in front of the board is for the CEO to proceed with the transfer of Mauna Ala, and that is not the case. So I just want to make sure that we are all aware of what the proposed actions are. There are 3 listed, and it is for the approval to continue on with due diligence phase 2. The second one is I just want to make sure that we can allay any concerns and fears to Anake, who testified regarding Mauna Laha, that we are talking about Mauna Ala, and that if we are going to talk about Mauna Laha, that we would certainly engage with the community, that would not be done without the consent and engagement of community. Again, what's in front of the board is Mauna Ala, not Mauna Laha.
Yeah. Mahalo, Stacey, for your point of clarification. Trustee Ahuna.
Thank you, Chair, very much. I just wanted to offer up some comments. First of all, I want to wear my trustee hat. I believe this is a financial meeting, investment and land management meeting, and we need to discuss our finances and if we can take it on. That's what we should be discussing right now. Another thing is, listening to all the comments, I like them all. Listening to everyone, and first of all, I like to say not right now, just like what Auntie Colleen said. And the reason why I'm saying not right now is because there is no need to rush this. And also, OHA has kuleana, but it doesn't have to be in the way. OHA is proposing at this time. So I want to make that clear. And also, it was brought up in the Civic Club Convention that OHA can help facilitate meetings and healing with the Ohana and even DLNR's curator process. I don't know if we're still on that. The last thing I want to say is, if I had to offer up any solutions, because I really want the transfer to happen and make sure, but we have to do a lot of things. Yeah, and you're right. And the diligence, now it's not due diligence, it's the diligence that is due to our people is very important. And I think the first one is that the community be informed. It showed today that the community was not informed. Number 2, kupuna to be included, more included. I'm so hurt to see kupuna get cut off today and not finish what they want to say. Very passionate. And this is what we're talking about. The third thing is the information to be accessible to all Hawaiians. And the fourth and the last one is it's our fiduciary obligation, OHA, giving sufficient plan on how OHA plans on managing and caring for Mauna Ala. So for me, I'm going to be voting no. And the only reason why is because I want us to do more diligence to our community, because we don't have to do this right now. We can still do a lot more things, and we can still complete things, and people are not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with even telling Kupuna that, hey, you guys got only 5 minutes. I'm so sorry. But
Mahalo, Trustee. I just want to say one thing as far as
I never even finished, but okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, till you finish.
No, you go ahead.
I just want to say something as far as the 5 minutes is concerned. That's a part of our bylaws. So we're consistent no matter what meeting, whether it's BNF meeting, BAE, ILM, as well as the BOT meeting. So it has nothing to do with our kupuna here today.
I'm not even telling it's about you. I'm just saying it hurts me. It hurts me.
Understand, Trustee.
Stop kupuna.
Understand, Trustee.
Especially
Before
so passionate like that. And I'm so sorry to them, and I apologize to those kupuna. Aloha. Thank you. We don't need to talk about this. Bye.
I do understand, Trustee. Before we carry on, and Chekaele, I know you have your hand up. I'm going to call up Laurie Walker from administration to do a brief, high-level overview of what Phase 2 due diligence actually means. We had the presentation on January 8, 2025, so it is on record. But I'm going to ask her to get to the meat and potatoes of things right now, just so we understand what we're voting on here today and the potential motion that may come up. Yeah? Mahalo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Aloha kako, mahalo to the members of the board and for the attendees for allowing me to explain further what the action item is actually today. So briefly, I'll just go over, there are several phases in an acquisition process. What we've gone over in the process so far is most of phase 1, and that is intentionally high level and to identify mission alignment in consideration of a property acquisition, in this case, transfer from the state of Hawaii. What we are asking for is to proceed to a deeper dive and intentionally rigorous process of due diligence to understand the breadth of kuleana we are taking on should we proceed with acquisition. Those, the steps in the rigorous deep dive of phase 2 include, as appropriate, formal property boundary survey, a phase 1 environmental report, a professional property condition report, zoning and land use reports, including any permitting that's been pulled, title reports, natural, cultural, historical resource assessments, assessment of any development considerations that exist, a review of existing agreements, service contracts, court reports, litigation, complaints, insurance concerns. What has been mentioned today and hasn't been completed in due diligence phase 1 are the development of a co-stewardship model with the kupa, the ohana, the kahu, the communities, the lineal descendants of these places that we're considering to inform a thorough assessment of the financial considerations that we would have to understand prior to making a recommendation to this board about how we proceed. So today's action item, again, is about finding all of the information to inform how we proceed, not exclusively as OHA, but in collaboration with our communities and the people that are closest to these places. So again, the end of phase 2 will, the findings and recommendations that come out of phase 2 will be presented to this board and transparent to the community so that we can have informed next steps. The following phases in the process are highly contingent on the transfer process determined by the governor's office, which we haven't been informed of yet as well. So there's a lot of unknowns, and the ask in today's action item is to proceed with diving deeper into this, finding out this information.
All right, members, any questions? Chair Kahele.
Sorry, you want to go? Laurie, I just had a follow-up. So assuming the phase 2, we move forward to authorize the initiation of phase 2, and that information is brought back to the board, and we would, I'm assuming, adopt the recommendations in phase 2 and then move to phase 3.
What does that look like?
Explain the subsequent phases for our benefit.
Yeah, I really would like to be specific about what those phases look like, but in this case, it's a state land transfer. And so it really depends on what that transfer looks like from the governor's office, if it's an executive order, if it's like a title transfer.
Would that be phase 3?
Yeah,
so phase 4 or phase
and
6?
phase 4. So we're looking at total 4 phases.
4 phases.
It would depend on what the transfer looks like for the state, and then we would come together again and decide if we are in agreement with the state on how they want to transfer it, if there's any contingencies we want to consider, and then phase 4 would just be the closing process of what that land transfer looks like.
Okay. I mean, parallel to this effort, which is OHA doing its, phase at least 1, 2, and 3 due diligence, you also have, to Makana Paris's earlier comment, legislation, Senate Bill 4, that's moving through the legislature. They could transfer Mauna Ala by the first week in May without any due diligence done by OHA. Correct? Which is probably for advocacy. So for all of our beneficiaries tuning in, tune into the legislature too, as far as Senate Bill 4, because there's parallel tracks happening. What we're trying to do here at OHA is do all the important work that would be necessary to do that, to have the beneficiary consultations, the different stakeholder consultations. So, I think what OHA is doing is headed in the right direction. Chair, if I can make one comment, and I think maybe it's a proposed amendment to the action item. I can come back to it, or... Oh, okay, great. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Yep, not at all. Thanks, Laurie. Thanks, Chair. Yeah.
Members, any other discussion? All right, seeing none. Oh, Ikalamai, Trustee Ahuna.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say, I want to correct this for the record, to say that the proposed action today is for the completion of OHA's due diligence for Mauna Ala. Thank you.
All right. Mahalo, Trustee Ahuna. Members, can I get a motion? Mike. Sorry, you know what? Members, before that, there's one more testifier. Rochelle, is it online? In person? Ikalamai. Aloha, Shar. You make your way to the table. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you for coming together today. My name is Shar Kahumoku. I'm a lineal descendant of many of... Good afternoon. My name is Shar Kahumoku. I'm a lineal descendant of numerous crown in there. Under Public Resolution 28 that was passed in 1900, the mausoleum was set aside for the royal family. And I want to keep that in mind because it was already passed in 1900. So everyone here, sitting here, as a lineal descendant, they have a voice because it was set aside for the royal family. If you're not familiar with it, it's Public Resolution 28. I believe that the lineal descendant should have a decision on what happens to the Mauna Ala. I'm willing to volunteer to do yard service if it becomes such a burden to take care of our own kupuna. There are many of us that have a voice that want to be heard, that we want to be able to do what we can do to make right. So I thank you for your time, and I just ask that you seek the lineal descendants first before you make any decisions on something that is our grandparents. Thank you.
Mahalo, sir. Thank you so much. Members, if there are no other questions, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve.
So move.
So the motion is, I'm going to move to approve to, I don't like the way this is worded, approve to undertake the undertaking of the due diligence phase 2 activities for proposed land transfer of Mauna Ala to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
Correct. Do I have a second? Motion made by Trustee Waihe, Vice Chair Waihe, and seconded by Trustee Luana Alampa. Just to clarify, members, that the motion is not amended, but we're just taking out the second part of the original motion that was in the packet. Yeah, of the proposed item.
Sorry, can you look at the motion up? Is that what you said, Trustee Wehe? Okay.
Trustee, for the record, can we get that motion read again, please? I'll read it because there was a motion and a second, so I'll just read it again before we call for the vote. Approval to undertake due diligence phase 2 activities for proposed land transfer of Mauna Ala Nu'uanu Oahu to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Members, any discussion?
Clarify, we're approving the due diligence only, the due diligence activities only.
That is correct, Vice Chair. Chair Kahele.
Just to point out that language that we're modifying has to be incorporated to the whole document, starting with the first page on the cover page. So it has to be consistent all the way through, not just here on action item B. Right. So yeah, when we do the final edit for it's not just there, it's through the whole document. You know, starting with page 1, action item issue, so that language has to be consistent to the whole document.
Any further discussion, members? Ikalamai, as we work through this, and appreciate your patience, everyone in the room and online, as well as the trustees.
Here, if you look at the proposed action, I guess it's page 3. So item I.
Right.
Number 2.
Sorry, hey guys. Sorry, Jermaine. Vice Chair, we have a question. Mahalo.
You have the I in front of you.
Yeah.
The document.
Right.
Just to make it consistent with the Vice Chair's recommendation, if you look at, I think it's page 3, it's where the first proposed action is, item I.
Right. Sorry.
Take it down. It's 1, I don't know, cover page 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's it.
Wait, Kai, you talking about the agenda?
Yeah.
Letter in that part of the folder. It's
right.
Page 1. I proposed action with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. 2501 to 2504 on the first page. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
No, you got to seal on here.
Wow, good catch, Kahele. Good catch.
You don't know what I said. So number 2, under item I.
Okay.
Number 2, just to make it consistent with what the Vice Chair is saying, where it says to inform. So number 2, sentence 2 at the end, where it says to inform the potential transfer of land. we should make that consistent with what he's saying here. So
Right.
that should read, for phase 2 due diligence to inform the proposed land transfer of land.
Okay.
So that is consistent with what you're saying.
So we need to take that as a separate amendment. You should move to amend. Okay, he should move to amendment. Chair Kahele, just to clarify, are you moving to amend the motion?
No.
No.
I'm just suggesting a further amendment to
Reflect his
to make it
proposed
consistent.
motion.
When we adopt the amendment, the proposed amendment, we're adopting, one amendment to amend the.
Chair.
Sorry.
Chair, would you like to call for a recess
Member-
to figure out?
Yeah. Members, I'm going to call for a recess. 5 minutes.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to work this out real fast.